Tell me something. Have you ever felt like I've failed? Am I a failure? Will I continue being a failure? I don't want to be a failure. Do you? If this is something that you have thought about, stick around with me for a while, y'all. Welcome to my channel. This is Astra's Brain Injury, and I'm Astra. Thank you all to all y'all who is tuned in to see what I'm talking about. Now, for those of you who are just stopping in and never met me, I had my brain injury, which began back in November of 2014. That's when, everything just began to change for me. Now, with this feeling of, am I going to be a failure? Or I feel like I've failed, was something very present for me. And the reason why I say this is because I knew where I was from before. I knew all what I was capable of, what I was going to be capable of, and where my life and everything was on track. You have people and they like to, okay, when I'm 20, this is where I'm going to be. When I'm 30, this is where I'm going to be. When I'm 40, this is where I'm going to be. When I'm 50, this is where I'm going to be. When I'm 60, 70, 80, this is where I'm going to be. And in each stage of your life, you know what you want. You know where you want to go, and you know what you want to do. And, we can look at failures in a negative way and be like, I failed at this. But did you really? You may not have passed it at this time. It's like taking a test. You might get 75 or 78 and the passing mark is 80. You didn't really fail. You may not have gotten the 80. Like, this is where you got to change your mindset of thinking now. You did not pass at the 80. You got 78. But you got even more than half of 100. So really, did you really fail? No. But we look at that and be like, oh, I failed. And with my brain injury, I felt like I was a failure. Because I know that I've spoken to you all about where I spoke about, not being able to even put on my socks or not being able to put on my shoe. I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't bathe myself. I couldn't even undress myself. Simple things like drinking water. I couldn't even drink or even swallow saliva without choking. I would choke because your food goes down the wrong part of your throat, and is like, the tears is coming out of your eye because you're trying to cough. You're trying to cough to get it dislodged. And this is how it was for me. So there was a lot of things that I personally was failing at because I could not, as I'm saying again, I couldn't dress myself. I couldn't undress myself. I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. I had to learn all of these different things. And we can be our worst enemy in the sense that because we know where we were, like I knew where I was before my brain injury. I know my plans that I had before my brain injury and what success I was going to be at. And the thing is, because I know all of these things, I'm like, why can't you hurry up? Why can't you get to where you need to be. So we can be our worst enemy in that sense, because you are continually, why can't you hurry up? And I was like, Astra, why can't you get this? You knew how to do this. Why can't you get this? And it's not to say I thought about this all the time. It only came about, once it's like I started getting a little bit clearer in my mind. So I was just like, what? It's like all of a sudden it was like I woke up and I'm like, but hey, I need to get to this finish line. And I felt like I was failing. Even though I was progressing, I was not progressing as fast as I would have liked it. And so for me, I felt like I was failing. I really did. I felt like I was failing. Yes, I celebrated and I was like, woohoo, I was able to put on my sock today. Yay. But for me, even though I could put on my sock, can I fully get myself dressed today? And there is that balance and imbalance of things. Even though I'm celebrating, because this is why I tell y'all, celebrate, even the smallest of things, because you can get tripped up. I was getting tripped up on, I'm failing. I'm a failure. I'm not getting to where I need to be like yesterday. I wanted to get to the end like yesterday, but I didn't even barely pass the start line. I barely even left the start line and I'm already like, I'm failing. I mean, let me know, is this something that you have thought about? Is this something that you felt like I'm failing, even because you knew where you were before and you see where you are, whether it is present day, depending on when your brain injury began, but you see where you are, you're not there as fast as you would like. And that's another thing, because I'm not getting there as fast as I would like. And I'm sure you all have heard me say, I was not patient with myself, but I had to learn to become patient. Like I'm patient, yes, but I'm not a patient kind of a person. But I had to learn to become a patient kind of person with myself, because when you have a brain injury, you have ups and downs. It's just like with anybody. We have our ups, we have our good and our bad days. But when you have a brain injury, it's easy to focus on what I don't have, because you realize there is so many uphill battles that you have to go through just to get to your first stage of where you want to be. And then you've got to be fighting all these battles like, sweet Jesus. And you want to know, when is it going to end? Because this is what I want to know. When am I going to get to the end? And my mother always used to be ringing in my ears, and my grandmother, you are closer to the end than when you first began. Honest to God, I detested y'all. I detested hearing that in my ears. It was just something about but I detested hearing it. But it was said to me, because every day that I overcame, I am closer now to the end than when I first began with my brain injury. And so I'm looking at it and, now in present day, and I'm looking back and I'm seeing where, I'm saying that I felt like I was a failure. I really was not. Yes, I was frustrated with myself because I wasn't where I once was. I wanted to be the Astra that I knew and loved, but this is now the Astra that I had to learn to love with a brain injury. So, was I a failure back then? No, I wasn't. When I look back at it today, was I a failure back then? No. Are you a failure? No. You may look at it now, if it's fresh for you, and you're thinking, oh, I'm failing. I can't even, stack blocks. I can't even do that. Okay, you may not be able to do it right now, but what about tomorrow? Right? Tomorrow you may be able to even stack 2 blocks. You never know. And so this is why I encourage y'all, 1, to journal, 2, to try and change your mindset. Because when you can, instead of saying, I can't, I was unable to do that. But what am I able to do now? And again, failure? No, definitely. You're not a failure. I was not a failure. I felt like it. Was it warranted at that moment in time? That's how I felt. I can't tell you no, don't you're not a failure and all that kind of stuff. But what I can encourage you is to not look at it that you're failing. You're unable to do it at this particular moment in time, but maybe tomorrow. Even if it's not tomorrow, maybe it's the next day or the following week, that you will be able to do even something small. And that's why you see, y'all, as I said, I keep saying, and to encourage y'all to journal, change your mindset. It's not what I can't do. It's what am I unable to do, but will I be able to do it tomorrow? And tomorrow, as I said, doesn't necessarily mean the next day. It could be the following week. It could be very well be the next month. You never know. But just to encourage y'all, don't give up. You're not a failure, because we never fail. We may not be able to get to where we want to be right now at this particular moment in time, but we will be able to get there in another time, whether it's tomorrow or the next day or so on and so on. So are you a failure? No. A failure is when you don't try. That's failing. So if you don't try, that's how you fail. But when you're trying, even though you can't get to it right now, you're not failing, you're trying. So guess what? There's hope. And, I always say, I believe as long as there's breath, there's hope. So a failure, no. Hope, yes. Believe that you can do, yes. Even though it may seem hard, and it will be hard, and it does feel hard, perseverance. That's all it is. Perseverance. Because that's what I needed to do. Perseverance. Look at something. Like how they would tell you, focus on, that one thing over there. Focus on it. And once you focus on it and you reach to it and you've achieved it and attained it, now you get to focus on something else. And each little focus will take you a step further and a step further and a step further. And next thing you know, when you turn around now, you're like, hey, look at where I am now. That's why I encourage y'all, journal. Y'all journal. So let me know if this is something that you have thought about. That, am I a failure? Will I be a failure? Will I continue being a failure? Am I ever going to get out of being a failure? Let me know if this is something that has, crossed your mind. Something that even somebody could have turned and tell you, oh, you're failing at what you're doing. No, you're not failing. It's just changing your mindset. You may not be able to do it right now, but tomorrow you may be able to, keep running that race. And that's the thing. It's just perseverance. Just perseverance to keep going, keep going, keep going. It's exhausting, y'all, because I can tell you that. It's exhausting because it was for me. But all I can keep saying is just keep striding. Just take one step forward. Just one step. Even if it's a baby step. Just one step. All right, so with that, I shall take my leave now. And please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified when I do these videos. And comments. Y'all, I love your comments. Sometimes I get a chapter. Sometimes I get a sentence. I appreciate it. And it may take me a little bit, but I will definitely get back to all of y'all. And so I thank you. Please keep the comments coming. I really like it. And with that, I shall take my leave now. And I'll definitely see y'all in the next video. That'll tell y'all bye.